Welcome everybody to the live Q&A panel with our beautiful Tribies. We have 7 beautiful Tribies joining us. My music's too loud. And we will be sharing their stories with you. The purpose of this call is for you all to believe, learn to believe, continue to believe that it's possible for you to lose weight, get to a goal weight, begin your journey, move along your journey, and believe that it's possible for you to get to your goal weight and then live the rest of your life there as well. We have beautiful Primas on the call. We have beautiful Tribies on the call, women at different stages of their journey, women at different ages of their life journey as well. So I'm really excited to share their stories with you. Hello, Hannah from Dover. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to open up the chat here on the Lucy in Wales. Good to see you. The chat is open on Zoom, and I've also got the comments happening in Facebook. So if you do have a question for any of the Tribies on the panel, please send them through. Hannah says, we all look amazing. Fantastic. Isn't that lovely? Penny, good to see you from Plymouth. All right. So I want to go through, go around the panel and hear from each of you Tribies. Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We have Tribies from all over the world on this panel. We've got the US, the UK, Wales, Australia. I think we don't have New Zealand represented today, but we've got people who it's 6 a.m. for in the morning, and we've got people who it's late at night for, and everyone in between as well. But so thank you, Tribies, for joining the panel. I know it can be uncomfortable to step up and public. It's just a chat with us, right? It can be a little bit uncomfortable. So thank you for being here today to share your stories. Let's head round and find out from each of you a little bit about yourself, where you started, like what's your life been like for weight management, and what made you decide to make your last start. We'll start with you, Mary, not to put you on the spot, because top of the screen. Tell us, Mary, a little bit about yourself. What was your life like with weight, and what made you have your last start?
Yeah, look, hi everyone. Lovely to be part of it all. Look, I was probably 7 when I started my first diet, but when I look back, the doctor then said to my mother she should only have 3 pieces of bread a day. And when I look at that cycle, I think it's quite amazing to think really back to now is probably something that he put me on. So that was a really hard thing, because back in those days, bread was after school, you know, everything. Then at about 14, I struggled with weight right through. So about 14, I went on these limits biscuits. I don't know if anyone ever did those. They were like a cream biscuit that we had, and I remember going in the other room and sitting on my own to struggle and eat those. And then a milk diet. I've tried diets galore, grapefruit, cabbage diet, everything I could possibly put my hand on. Now, I didn't have huge amounts, like probably, probably 25 kilos overall is what I've had to lose. You know, I mean, it's huge, but compared to me. And then I just 5'2" I went on for, but I couldn't really get into it properly. You know, like I do 2 good days, but the other days, you know, was sort of not so good. Then early last year, I was at my sister's in Queensland, and she had this. She thought it was a great diet, and it was going to cost a fortune. And she had a mentor, and I got home and I thought, no, I'm not doing that because I'm not working. And suddenly I'd been looking at the 800. I was on the website there, but I tried it a bit, but couldn't get into it. And then suddenly Lyndall's ad come on for the 28-day thing, and it's been the best thing out, because I got to Prima. I was looking it up last night. It's just a week over 12 months ago. I got down to
the anniversary, Mary.
And then this week I went on the 5-day challenge, and because I had put a little bit on, I got 2 kilos below my Prima, and sort of tried to stabilise there, giving myself a bit of leeway. And I really have been able to keep it off, you know, down to that 2 kilos. And today I noticed I'm 1.4 off. So I'm just about back to Prima again.
Fantastic.
So really, it's been fantastic. It has been an easier way of eating. And yeah. So I have struggled all my life. And from that, I became very obsessed with walking, and because we had been in lockdown, of course, and I still am. So so I changed.
And I think you're not alone, Mary. Like everyone I speak to, that I think there's only 1 or 2 Primas I've interviewed who hasn't struggled their whole life with weight and been put on things from a young age, like different slices of bread. You know, that starts the negative self-talk, doesn't it? It starts all of that.
And look, it's just fantastic what the inspiration. I mean, I know I haven't been as good since I did get down at getting onto all the accountability calls and everything, but every now and then I log in late, like I'm not on the live, and I still log in. So,
and that's exactly how it is. It's like that, isn't it? For you to choose how you like a bit like Netflix there as well.
Yeah, it is.
There is. I look at the stats of Tribies who show up live and who watch replays. Most people catch the replays, and even through the Fast 5 challenge, most people have caught the replays and not been able to make the live. So it's just it's the world we live in, isn't it? We're all at different time zones. Choosing the times that suit us. So awesome. Thanks, Mary. Let's speak to Dorothy. We'll hear from Dorothy. And I haven't set it up so that we hear Primas first, but we are hearing a couple of Primas to kick us off. Dorothy, tell us about a little bit about yourself and what made you decide to have your last start?
I did not have trouble. I'm Dorothy. I live in the United States in Texas. I have, in my early days, did not have any difficulty with weight. I was very, very active. It wasn't until I was actually in my 40s that things changed. I took on a position with work that created a very sedentary lifestyle, and I went up to an extremely high weight. And then I've done research and reading and tried this diet, tried that diet, just lots of science. And anyway, I prior to COVID, I came across Fast Mama, but in a really interesting way. I'm not I have a Facebook account, and I had an Instagram account, and I had a Facebook account years and years ago because my daughter went to Australia and she wanted to share pictures. So I had that, but I didn't really know how to use it, didn't post anything very often. But I came across a lady, and she doesn't even know this, in Instagram, who was called Senior Slimmer. And this woman posted the most incredible pictures of food on plates. And I'm a foodie. I love to eat out. And so, and prior to COVID, my husband and I were traveling 8 to 9 months out of the year. Our work took us so many places. And so I was living out of hotels and restaurants. And so that was my life. So my weight was up. I wasn't really very healthy, but I also wasn't as active. So I saw this Instagram and I thought, I'm going to figure out who she is. Well, she had said she's over 60. I'm 64. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. And I came across something that said Fast 800 in one of her people had written in her Instagram account. And I looked up that and I found there's a book, Fast 800. So I got the book, I read it, and it was like, oh man, this is, I don't know what to do with this. And so I ended up coming across your Facebook group, that Fast 800 recipes or something. I don't remember what it was. And I saw a challenge. And that was back in December of 2019. And I failed to sign up for that. I missed it. I tried in December or January and I missed it. And fast forward 2 months, I was living an extremely stressful lifestyle. And I had a ruptured appendix and landed in the hospital. And while I was there, I got to visit the cardiac unit for a week. And that was interesting. So I came out in a much different place than when I went into the hospital. And one of the things was I needed to change my lifestyle. COVID had hit. I was not traveling. I was locked down. I had plenty of time to read and research and investigate. And your challenge came up. And I signed up on April 4th. And that's when I started.
Yeah.
So and I haven't looked back. That's how but I got there kind of with a lot of bumps along the way.
And you're
Same
at
day as me. Same day as me that I
same
signed
day as Mary.
Oh, the 28 day. That's right. The 28 day.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. And so, yeah, well, how long have you been at Prima for, Dorothy?
7.5 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So awesome.
It's really cool.
64 years old. Fantastic. It's any age, isn't it?
That's exactly it. And it was
doesn't-
that lady on Instagram who doesn't even know the influence she had.
I wrote her
in me.
name down. I'm going to reach out to her. Thanks for
Oh,
that,
it's
Dorothy.
great.
Julie, thanks, Dorothy. Julie, let's hear. I haven't spoken to you much, Julie, so I'm really excited to hear a little bit about yourself and what encouraged you to have your last start.
Okay, hi, I'm Julie. I live in the UK. I live down in the southwest in Exeter and Devon. So you just introduced somebody, one of the participants, and said they were from Plymouth. I think it's from Plymouth down the road.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for correcting
somebody,
me.
Somebody must be on from Plymouth, which means that they're quite close to me. So if they want to get in touch, please do.
We've got Penny from Plymouth.
Yeah, I only started in this year on January the 2nd, and I've lost 24 kg, which
Incredible.
is in UK money, that's just under 4 stone. And it's been absolutely amazing. I'm 55. I've been overweight since I was 6 years old. Bit like Mary, I was a fat child, and I was a fat child because my parents overfed me. I had 2 older brothers, significantly older, and I was fed the same as them. And I was picked up by the school nurse, and I had to go to weight management as a 7 and 8, 9-year-old, and they just felt feeding me was with love, not, and that's just the way it became. So actually, I've been married 30 years, and when I got married, I was probably 2 stone bigger than I am now.
Wow.
So I've been basically overweight all my life, but with a number of opportunities and times when I have lost weight on Slimming World, Weight Watchers, blah de blah de blah de blah, done it all, done the shakes, done everything, but none of them have had sustaining results, and this one really has. So I watched. He's quite popular in the UK. Is Michael Mosley, does a lot of TV here. So there was just before Christmas, there was 21 days to lose a stone. So that I kind of watched that, and then I thought, right, after Christmas I need to start, because my BMI had just gone over 30, so I'd just gone into obese. And that was like a red flag at 55 health wise for me. So I must have just Googled Fast 800 and your thing came up because obviously it's, connected with the words. So I joined your 5-day challenge on the 2nd of January. And then by the Friday signed up, monthly. And basically I lost 3 stone in 3 months until the end of March, which was really quite straightforward because we were in severe lockdown January to March here. So it was a really good opportunity to do it. And then since March, I've lost another stone, but I've just done it incredibly slowly. So effectively, I'm almost maintaining, but just with a bit of a loss. So I feel like I've learned how to have a social life and go out and still live, but then being able to always get my backpack on and pull it back for a couple of days, so that my net status is a slight loss each sort of few weeks. So I'm a kilo off Prima. I'm quite I'm 70. What am I? 74 kg, which sounds a lot, but I'm 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah,
so,
I remember I was thinking, oh, I want her high.
I started 98 kg, which, I was heading towards 100 kg.
It's incredible. It's just like 2020, 2021, Julie. It's your year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredible.
So I'm going to hit the Prima button, but I'm not going to do it for a few weeks because I've got 2 weeks holiday coming up. So I know I'll do that kind of. And then I would imagine by the end of August, because we've got our 30th wedding anniversary as well coming up. And And so I think by the end of August, I'll hit the Prima button. Then I'll feel quite prepared because I already feel like I've got the maintenance thing going.
Yeah.
And just the continued inspiration from the Tribies and the group, and I enjoy the Sunday session and also the Amanda calls. I must admit, I'm already starting to not go on the accountability so much because I feel like I sort of know what I'm doing. But again, if anything happens, I'll just hop back on those again. But yeah, no, it's been incredibly useful, and I can't recommend it enough. It's really worked for me.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. What a phenomenal year, or half of a year that you've had so far. It's incredible. And I love that the Prima button, for anybody who's not sure what that is, we have a gold button within the backstage area, which is our portal. And once you hit Prima, you get to hit the Prima button. And the cool thing is you get to decide when you hit it. And so it's actually the process of hitting that button has so much growth behind it as well. We have some Primas who won't hit it for a period of time after they've hit Prima. Some people actually decide to adjust their goal and hit it early, and we get to make it up because it's our own lives and find what actually will work for us and serve us best on our journey as well. Love that. Thanks for sharing, Julie. Beautiful. What a phenomenal achievement that gift you've given yourself this year. So cool. Thank you. All right, Diane, tell us a bit about yourself and what made you have your last start.
Hi there. Hi, I'm Diane from Scotland, near Glasgow.
I've said Wales before. Sorry, from Scotland.
Oh no,
I'm saying Plymouth.
and the UK will do.
Okay.
But no, I think the reason I got to that point again in my life where I'd reached like a really high weight, but it's actually the highest weight that I'd ever been. And I'd lost like 3 to 4 stone about 4 times already in my life. And I thought, oh, here we go again. And I thought, I can't do this again. I don't know how. Last time I did it Slimming World, the week time before it was Weight Watchers, the time before it was personal training, and then the time before it was shakes. And I thought, so I ran out of what I don't know if I could repeat. I tried repeating and it didn't work. And like Julie was saying, Michael Mosley was on TV, and I watched it and kind of thought, oh, that sounds really good, but I don't think I could do that. And then, but thought about it, and then I think when you get to that point where you're just desperate, like I was hiding from social situations and not wanting to go out and feel embarrassed, all of that stuff. And also your health. Like I lost my mum when she was young. She was 39, I was 15. So I know that gift of life. And I feel like my weight was really just kind of stopping that. And I thought, right, well, I can do something about it. And then it was just pure luck that I tried the Michael Mosley for 12 weeks. Well, I only lost a stone, so I thought, right, I'm not very good at this. Everyone's losing a lot of weight. And then I thought, I don't know how I can continue on myself. Like, there's only so much motivation that you've got. And it was really, really hard, I felt, doing it myself. And then, so you do the Googling, searching, trying to find more science, all of that. And then that's when I actually found the YouTube video from the panel, which is why it's actually, so it's so amazing. Like, this is today, and I must be honest, I'm only halfway there in my journey. You're
already halfway there.
halfway there. And I just feel so lucky to have found this because I've been overweight, I suppose, since I remember being 10 and hiding my gym gear at primary school, so I didn't have to do gym class. And then now it just seems to follow me, and it's a dark cloud I've got over my life. But now I feel right with the tribe and with the coaching.
This is definitely your last time.
This is
I'll
it.
hunt
This
you
is
down.
the last time.
If you ever start to follow your old patterns, reach out. I'll help you out. Stay connected. Oh, that's awesome, Diane. Isn't that cool? It gave me goosebumps hearing you watched the last panel, and now you're here on this panel. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, and the women were so inspirational, and I got to say everything that everyone says that I listen to in coaching or the panel. I think that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
We're not alone, right? There's so much, everybody has so much that we share that we think is wrong with us, or is, you know, what makes us different, and it's hard for us. But everybody has very similar challenges and problems on their weight loss journey, and with their mindset too, isn't it? Yeah, awesome. Oh, thanks, Diane. Thank you very much for sharing. Sam and Sam always brings her family to the calls. I love it. Hello. One day she had her whole family on the call. It was so fun. Sam, welcome to the panel. Share a bit about your background. Sam's talking with more of an Aussie accent since she's joined the tribe. She's an Aussie living in the UK. Share a bit about your background, Sam, and what encouraged you to have your last start?
Hello.
Hello.
My whole family is known to everyone. They're part of the tribe too, I think.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm from Melbourne originally, and yes, the accent has come back. I don't know why. It's you. It's definitely you.
Sometimes I say 3 words as one big long word, and I think, okay, now I need to repeat that as 3 words.
Well, like Diane, I'm partway through my journey, not only, probably a little bit further, but where do I start? I started trying to lose weight last summer, which I guess was I live in London, mid-COVID, or just after our lockdown had started easing last year. And weight was the highest it had been. I got to 232 pounds, which is 105 kilos. But like Julie, I'm quite tall. I'm 5'7.5" something like that.
Yeah.
So I think most of my life I've been overweight to some extent. I realize now I was probably less overweight in my 20s and 30s than I thought I was.
Yeah.
And if only I was only that overweight now. So I think I carried it relatively well. So I don't think a lot of people realized how heavy I'd gotten. And then obviously I hadn't seen anyone through COVID anyway. I hurt my back. I sort of was doing yoga and something went ping, and it was a disc sort of issue. And anyway, long story short, went to see the doctors, and they did a health check at the time. You could get like your bloods and all that done. I'm also, since having my daughter who is 11, I'm now I can never remember, hypothyroid, which means I have an underactive thyroid. So after having her, weight loss has been really tough. And, you know, I've always walked, eaten relatively well, I guess. But it just sort of felt like it was this constant and continuing increase that I had absolutely no control over. So I did the health check, and I sat with the nurse going through everything. And I actually gave up drinking 2 years ago now. And believe me, giving up drinking does not mean you'll lose a lot of weight, just so you know. It does help with your motivation though, and sticking to things, that's for sure. And you don't tend to overeat if you drink. But in any event, it was, it was all to do with health and trying to be, I'm 47 now, and it's just trying to be the healthiest mum and person that I can be. So there was a lot of motivation from a health perspective. And I sat with this nurse who basically sort of said to me, you are doing everything right. Your bloods are amazing. So I've sort of hit optimal thyroid. I'm on medication. I'll be on medication for the rest of my life, and that's okay. It's just one of those things. So I was doing all the right things, and she said, yeah, it's really unfair. You'll sort of just need to live with this now. And it was just this, I can't even quite describe. It was just like, I had to over the next week, I think, or over the next few days, I sort of had to make a decision as to whether I was going to accept that and just live my life that way forever, and accept I'd sort of gotten to a size 18 by then, and most of the time just really uncomfortable and wanting to sort of cover everything. and feeling like, I'm getting really emotional now, feeling like that was it. And that was my life. And I'm 40 something.
Yeah.
Or search and look. And I knew I didn't want to do Weight Watchers. I knew I didn't want to do something which was quick fix, unsustainable. I wanted something that was healthy. I didn't want to have to think about it all the time. And that's the other thing. You realize you've been thinking about it most of your life.
The energy and time and
so
effort. Yeah.
So much energy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how I stumbled on things, but I decided I was going to do more exercise. Once my back, I saw a chiro, started getting that back into shape, started doing more yoga, started doing more walking and stuff. But again, COVID and what have you, working from home constantly. Although I did get a standing desk, which I highly recommend for anyone. They're amazing. I got a Peloton. I know it's just come to Australia. Cannot recommend enough. I'm not on any sort of...
They're bikes? Yeah.
Yeah. Spin bikes. I'd never done spin in my life, but I was like, I need something here, accessible, easy, and that I can just get into. And that sort of took over. So and then at the same time, my friend who gave me a code for a discount off the bike, a friend of the family, older lady in her 60s who has a Peloton, she told me about Michael Mosley, Fast 800, and you. So I started looking at it all. And I think it was the combination of consistently exercising, really rethinking diet, fasting, which was just the craziest concept in the world.
It was
I
for me
genuinely thought I was going to faint if I didn't eat for a large period of time. I don't, and it's fine. And everything. So I did start losing weight, and I think I missed last October's, because that was around October, end of September, beginning of October. I think I'd missed the intake at that point. I was like, I cannot believe there's only a few intakes a year. How have I missed this? I'm ready now. So like Julie, I joined the Fast 5 in January. And immediately signed up. So where did I start? 232 pounds. I am currently 171.5 pounds.
Incredible.
Which is 61 pounds, which I'm amazed at. And I'm not done. I'm not done.
Amazing, isn't it?
Just over 7. What is it, like 20 something? I did look
it's
it
like
up.
27 kilos or something like that.
Something
Maybe
like
more. Yeah.
It's mental.
It's amazing.
I also can't get my head around it.
Like, you've taken that weight off your body. It's like putting down a big sack of potatoes. Like, that's incredible. Take that, put it over there, and live my life. And look, Tiff says, Sam, good for you not accepting what the nurse told you. Like that pivotal moment. There's always like pivotal moments in when we can make a decision to change the course. And it's always a decision that we can choose as well. So good. Penny says, wow. Wow. Amazing, Sam. And so have you had your appointment with that nurse again?
No.
No, can't wait till you do. Or you're just going to not.
Well, actually, no, actually that's not true, because I have to get them done yearly anyway, but for the thyroid, they check that the medication's still right and whatever. And I did say to the doctor before I got it, because which would have been December last year, before we went into wave whatever of COVID, I did say to him, I am fasting now. I'll be really interested to see. Now, my cholesterol was up a little bit, which apparently fasting can do.
It can. Yeah, but it's your good cholesterol that goes up. Yeah. Yeah.
So he wasn't massively, but yeah, I'd had lost some weight and he was quite blown away. And he was like, well, clearly keep going. So I don't go again until December, but yeah, I mean, it's been such a radical change. I'm now interested to see what happens with my medication and see if things change. Yes. It doesn't really matter. I'm happier and healthier than I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. All right, let's hear from Karen. Karen, tell us, it's early morning there. We are so appreciative, Karen, that you're awake and here with us. Tell us, and for Mary as well, but tell us, Karen, tell us a bit about yourself and what made you decide to have your last start?
Well, I've been putting myself on diet since I was a teenager, just like a lot of people. And I think as a teenager, my most successful one was fresh peaches, because my grandfather had sent them down on the train in a big box. He lived in Griffith farm area. Whenever he did someone a favour, they'd feed him with boxes of fruit. So, and that in yogurt, that worked really well as a teenager. But I've spent all of my life thinking that I'm overweight and I'm too fat. But I married young, have a husband who just, loves me no matter what. And so that's comfortable. But I've tried all those diets, and some of them are quite good. I didn't like Weight Watchers at all. The whole points system didn't work for me. But CSIRO and Michelle Bridges, and that they were good, but they lacked something. And I work as a nurse. I'm an emergency nurse, and can't advise your patients to lose weight when you're fat yourself, And we eat a lot at work. We've
got quite a few nurses in the tribe, and I see all the food that they're like passing up each day in the break room.
And I've posted some pictures because the night shift particularly, which I just don't cope with. But anyway, I've managed to over the last decade move myself into a position that I've held the last 4 years, where I work regular hours. I work from 10 in the morning till 8 at night in a specialist position, and I'm saying to myself, it's time to lose weight now. You can do it now. You're not doing night shift. You're not got the swings. You're not constantly tired. So January 2019, I was quite frustrated. The January weigh was 99.4. I'm 154 centimeters tall, and I just felt like I was a square. I'm a cube. That's it. Buddy show. Anyway, and I really was thinking about going down the gastric bypass surgery. So I did some research, and ultimately my conclusion was the reason why they work is not only are they on a liquid diet, but the liquids only add up to 600 calories a day. And I'd heard about the 5-2, and the original Mosley book was 500 calories or 600 calories. 500, yeah. And I had that in the shelf with all the other 50 books I had. So I pulled that out again, had a look at it. Oh, that looked a bit too hard, Then I decided that I'd go back to my teenage years, but I couldn't get nice pictures. But one of the things is that in the 1970s, everyone was skinny. When you look at the photos, everyone's really skinny. It's like, well, what were they eating then that we're not eating now? So then we look at the quit sugar issues, and you do a lot of research. And I decided, right, I'm going to start skipping breakfast. I want to start eating like I did when I was a kid. And that, I dropped a few kilos, and then people at work were starting to talk about the Michael Mosley book, and there's a new book out, and I'm thinking, I'm not doing another book. I'm not buying another book. I'm not paying more money. That's it, And anyway, so no one would lend me their book. It's like, well, stuff it. You've got enough money, go and buy one. And that was really interesting. It said a lot, and I hadn't heard about him before. And I saw some of the girls with the recipes at work, and I had to flick through. And so I ended up buying one recipe book, and it went from there. I had a friend who she's also much bigger than me, and she says I dragged her along, and she thought I was kooky. She went on the light and easy, and I'd been on light and easy before, and they all work for about 5 kilos.
Yeah.
And then something in me happens and it doesn't work. And I become completely distracted from it. But in my head, I'm still dieting. And I've been dieting in my head
It's
for
exhausting.
40 years.
Yeah.
And so eventually I talked to my friend into knuckling down and doing, and she borrowed my book and ended up buying her own and all the rest of it. We ended up giving ourselves an 8-week challenge, and because I had a conference I wanted to go to and I didn't want to go fat again. I mean, I still went fat, but I actually lost 7.6 kilos in 8 weeks, just following the Michael Mosley recipe book, etc. And I was really proud of that. And it was the lowest weight I'd been in a long time. And it proved to me that it could be done. And I don't need the gastric. And also part of with the gastric surgery, you have to lose 12 kilos, I think it was, or maybe I had to lose 12 kilos before you could be, before the surgeon would do it. And I thought, if I lose 12 kilos, that'll make a huge difference to how much I weigh now. So obviously I'm not a candidate. I was borderline, apparently, because of my height. And then I went to conference and same deal. Woo, out the window, you know, but I'm still mentally on a diet. Then I did the 5-day challenge, I think. Yeah, 5-day challenge in October 2020. And I finished that, and I think I actually did lose 1.5 kilos, which was pretty good. And just by focusing back, you know, resetting, focusing back, learning some of the skills. And then when I finished that, I'm scrolling on my phone and up pops an email, and here's Lyndall whispering like a Pied Piper, and I umdenard about spending money. I told myself I wasn't going to spend any money. And I thought, I'll just go month by month. I can cancel it after a month. Or I only need 3 months. 3 months, you know, 12 weeks. That's what they say. I can lose 20 kilos in 12 weeks. I'll try it. But I think when I immersed myself in it, I realized, wow, even though my girlfriend and I, my buddy, we'd done some of the head stuff. We'd explored why we overeat and looked at our childhood. And I kept saying, we must have something in our past. We must have something in our past. And we're still pulling that out. But then even after joining, I think then became holiday in October, then became holidays and then Christmas. And I was still in my head, a fast mama Tribie, but not really losing any weight. And of course, there's all these feasts happening. And then January hit and I'm like, yep, going to start again. But I really, January 19 was my last start. And along the way, you pick up all your tools, and I've kept going more concentrated than I ever have in the past. And then the Primers that joined in October 2020 started hitting the Primer button. I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm not ready. Why are you doing that? I'm not ready. And then I looked and I thought, wow, girl, you are way not ready. What is going on? What is wrong with you? Why aren't you doing what everybody else is doing? And then I realized I actually wasn't doing it. I wasn't going to the accountability calls. I wasn't checking in. I hadn't caught up with all of the modules. I wasn't getting to coaching calls. What was I doing? And I don't exercise. And what are you doing? Really? What are you doing? And anyway, so excuse me. It's pulled me up. Pulled me up, and
you've been showing up
the Prima stories, and the Prima stories are amazing. And but I listen to them in the car on the way to work. I've got 35 minutes of drive, and I'm like, I need to write this down. I can't write this down. I'm driving. You know, I'll go back and listen to it another time, and I'll write the notes. But you pull a point each time from someone, and for like Kate Henson turns up to all of the calls.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I've got to do. I've got to turn up to the calls. I've got to show that I've got my backpack on and I'm still going.
Yeah.
And I need to learn some of those things. And Sally was walking a lot, like, right, get off your back, go, you know. So in the last 3 weeks, I've started a particularly long walk, which I had a lot of pain with, but I persisted and now I don't have pain.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to my second gym class this morning.
Yep.
10 years ago, I was a gym bunny. So I was fit. In my 40s, I was the fittest I've ever been.
Yep.
But I wasn't the slimmest. I was still the same weight. I was the same weight I am now. It's the mindset is amazing. And then I've started, you know, you keep researching and looking for things that are going to work better for you. And I've started some longer fasts and listening to Obesity Code and all the spin-offs from that, and just realizing that there's so much out there, but just focus on one or two.
Yeah.
Don't
Keep
go
it
down all those
simple.
rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And the longer fasts work. They're really making that fast weight loss, which I need to keep me really hitched. And I think the biggest thing with the backpack idea is that when you fall, you don't take your backpack off. You fall with your backpack on.
Yeah.
And then you get back up with the backpack on. The backpack's actually lighter than you think.
Yeah. Isn't it? And we forget how many tools we have in our backpack as well, how many we've collected along the way to learn, or like to help us as well. And sometimes there's Tribies who like go back to the basics. The first thing they put in their backpack was those basics, and going back to them can really help as well. Are you we have got an extended fasters Tribie group in Facebook. Are you on that, Karen? I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a support group of Tribies that enjoy extended fasting, because I know that not everybody
I
does.
enjoy it.
What was that?
I won't say that I enjoy it. When I first started losing weight in the middle of the year of 2019, my colleagues noticed, you know, because as soon as I go off the carbs, I lose that really round face. And they go, how are you losing your weight? And I said, starvation and torture.
And I love that you said that you had your last start January 2019?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Isn't that just like, yes, it was. The rest is learning. The rest is part of that journey. And it's all, there's gifts in there, whether it like, and we get to decide whether it's, there's gifts in it that we can use, or whether we just blame and shame ourselves for the time that it's been. But I love that you said that was your true last start.
Yeah.
So good, Karen. Well done. Thank you for sharing. And Nina, the lovely Nina, welcome to the panel, Nina. Let us know a bit. Your story is different to others because Nina hit Prima within the Fast 5 challenge, the last Fast 5 challenge, and joined the tribe to practice maintenance. Sorry, Nina, I just stole your thunder and all the but I'm just so proud and excited. But I did see someone in the Fast 5 challenge this time hit Prima as well. So I was like, there's another Nina. So share your story, Nina. What a bit about yourself and what made you have your last start?
My name is Nina and I live in Oregon in the US. And I am proud to say that 70 days ago, I have it on my app, I hit Prima during the last 5-day challenge, as you said, and I'm really proud of that. I kind of wish I had learned about the tribe earlier, because I think that I did 5-2 first, 800, all these things with Michael Mosley. I got all the books and all the stuff like that many people have talked about here. And I did it on my own through Facebook. Well, not on my own. I did it through Facebook group and all that stuff. And it was very supportive. And I struggled with different weight. So I go up and down a lot. and have at least 30, 40 pounds. I have gained and lost over the years. And then I finally got into the 5'2" thing and the fast 800. And then I was down to 20 pounds that I couldn't shake. Just those last 20 pounds, like it was just a struggle. And it was going on for years. I would lose the 20, I would gain the 20, and then, you know, it was ongoing. So 16 years ago this month, I got married, and then I had hit the weight I am today. And that was the first time in, I mean, since I was in my 20s that I weighed this weight. And so it's been a long time. And I couldn't shake the 20 pounds until I joined the 5-day challenge. Somehow I did the right things, like we talked about. I knew what to do. The doctor told me things that I should and shouldn't do. I was living a pretty healthy lifestyle, but I just could not lose the last 20. And then the 5 challenge and all these knowledge that came from the group and all these things, I finally got it. I believed I could, and it worked. It's brilliant that it does work. But until then, I just thought, oh, if I get to my goal, I'm gonna mess it up again. I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna gain it all back, like I always do. I've done that a million times. I'm really, really good at losing the weight because I can get so
determined,
so determined and so weird about counting calories. I don't know about you guys, but I've been counting calories in these apps for probably 30 years, like ongoing. I mean, I'm 54, and I thought I was too old to lose the weight too. There's some other people here have talked about that too. And I also have an underactive thyroid, which I thought was going to be a given, Sam, that is not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And all these things are completely proven wrong by believing and doing the work that I felt all the classes, the coaching, these amazing resources that we have through the tribe. You learn things every day. Every time I reach out, I could have a problem. Amanda's coaching has been amazing. Everywhere I turn, there's always someone who has something to say that triggers me to keep going, do better, do more, and get me inspired.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are days I can barely make it out of bed, and then I look on the phone and there's a message from somebody who had now just done a check-in on Facebook, and I look and I go, oh my God, look at her. She did, oh wow, she did that. Oh, I got to get out of bed because I want to go and do that, or I want to try this. There's meditation, there's all these ideas like popping up from people. And I can't thank the tribe enough for this, because it's been really great. So yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you and all the Tribies in the tribe. I was saying to the panelists before we started, I have so much love. I'm going to try not to cry on the call and be a bit love obsessed. But I'm so passionate about each of you in the tribe to just realize your own dreams and goals there as well. We have a couple of questions that have come through. So if you are watching and you'd like to ask the panelists a question, we've got 8 more minutes. So the first question is from Lucy. What do the panelists think was different with this approach compared to all the others that haven't worked in the past? Does anyone want to respond to that question, answer that question? Karen. Oh, hang on.
There we go.
There we go.
I think this one gives me a lot more control, but also the things that I punished myself with, I was let off the hook.
Yeah.
In terms of how you manage your lifestyle. And that's not necessarily what Mosley really goes into, but we do in Fast Mama Tribe, in terms of, you know, life happens and you have to celebrate. You have to celebrate with family if it's a birthday, or, you know, there's special occasions. That's what brings joy in life. And the fact that I make some adjustments, but you have to enjoy your life as well, and then still be able to get back up the next meal or the next day and be back on your plan. And then you might find that there's other tools you can use as well that will make that recovery day a lot more beneficial. So in the past, I would have had my feast, really enjoyed it, hit the and then take days to get back on track. The biggest thing to learn is to get back on track straight away.
Yeah.
And I think it's the freedom and the one premise talks about being kind to yourself and saying nice things to yourself, and I caught myself being really negative, and I am a negative, and I think in the past I've been a negative, needy friend. When I look at my gym buddies when I was really fit, and I think they sort of thought that I was a bit too negative and a bit too needy, and I've really had to pull myself up and be independent, but I haven't learned entirely to be positive. But what I've learned really is that there's forgiveness when you don't get it right. And you're just human.
Yeah, exactly. And the first step of any growth is awareness, and just you've gained that awareness of the tone of the language you use for yourself as well. And then we start to practice. How can we start to be kinder to ourselves and start to practice that? But it doesn't happen overnight. So good. Thanks, Karen, for sharing. Dorothy, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yes, just short. Most of all, that you're not alone. The success, I feel, has been through the community, having a buddy, the coaching calls, and the personability. I mean, just that, Lindell, I'm not a number. You know me by name. You've called me by name. You help me. That's just so different. So I realize I didn't do it well by myself, and I'm flourishing here. Thank you.
You're thriving. You're beautiful. Thanks, Dorothy. All right. Any other questions before we finish up? Let's have a look if I have any questions. Oh, let's go around and is there one tip or one thing that each of you would like to say to someone who is wanting to make a decision, whether they join the tribe or not, but just to keep going on their journey, not to give up on themselves? So we'll start with you, Mary. What's one tip you would give anyone who's watching this?
Really, it is the tribe and getting back into having that support of each other. To me, it's the first time ever that when I started to put a bit of weight back on, usually I think it hasn't worked. This time, it just, as others have all said, just to get back in and just look at the calls. And I do find the biggest thing for me is when I do put a little bit of weight on, I'll get back into the check-in.
Yeah.
To me, I can go for a while and think, oh, well, and then I think, right, that gets me back on.
Daily accountability.
Even though I'm writing, I've got my own diary. That is the biggest thing, and all the support of everyone. I'm 72, and I feel like now I'm the best that I've felt for so many years. And actually, what I didn't quickly say was that my blood pressure had gone up a little bit. My cholesterol. Said if you could lose 3 kilos, would be great. That's what started my journey last with you. And I've lost 15, I think it is altogether. So
so good.
So the check-in is and the calls, all the calls you do. Yeah.
I love that you put on a little bit of weight and didn't feel the shame, and that you had to, you felt comfortable coming, just getting back in there. And we see people in and active, and then taking some living and then coming back in and active, and then we see people using it all the time. It's however it works for you, but I love that you felt comfortable.
I also had probably 4 people I knew last year wanted to know what I'd done and went the same way, but none of them joined the tribe. I did say there's a group, but I didn't push. they've all tried to do it on their own, but I notice now most of them are putting it, well, some back on. It's the tribe, I think, that support, that something pops up when you put a message in is fantastic. It just keeps you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mary.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Dorothy, what would you say?
I would say stand up for yourself.
Yes.
Make your health and you a priority. And I had never really done that. I'd been very giving and serving and helpful and so much for others, and really didn't consider myself a priority. And it's uncomfortable. It's like, no, I'm going to eat this, and no, I'm going to make this for dinner because this is serving me. So it was awkward and uncomfortable, and yet
worth it,
and just gain confidence and believe that I can. Now I know I can, but I didn't know how to. So I would say stand up and make yourself a priority.
Yes, I love that. Thank you, Dorothy. Julie, what would you say?
Oh, well, I agree with everything everybody said. For me, what's been really helpful is the variety of foods. I've really used the red and the blue book so much, and just keep trying all different things and really enjoy the food. And I think I think that's been a massive asset in terms of for my journey. Plus the flexibility. I still have wine. I still have bits of chocolate. Somehow I've learned to do things in moderation, which I never had before. If for example, occasionally we might have something like fish and chips if we're away camping or something, and I'll have a child's portion of fish and chips. Well, if you'd have said to me a year ago, you'll be eating a child's portion of fish and chips, I'd have said, absolutely no way. Well, and because, I've reconditioned my brain in a different way, I really enjoy that. So you can still have what you want, but it's all about the plan, sticking to the plan, and then getting back up the next day, and then having, a day where you much more maybe controlled the next day, and then it all averages out. So there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, love it. Fantastic. Thank you. Diane, what would you say?
I know I was writing a list there. It's really just that belief. I feel like I'm changing. My mindset is changing, so I'm not going to go back there, and that's the difference this time. The coaching, changing your belief system. That I realise I've been telling myself stories, not having that all or nothing approach, and being in things in moderation, like Julie says. I'm exactly the same, and I'm practicing. It's okay not to be perfect, but I think also coming from that place of kindness. So when things don't go right, and I do beat myself up and get down about it, it's just back on. And my amazing buddy Ruth, a wee shout out to her, who's she's a twin mum as well. We both got twins, so cool. And just having her support there. But the mindset is the biggest thing. That's the difference. Yeah. And the planning gives you freedom.
Planning gives you freedom. Yes. That was a mindset shift I needed to learn myself, so I could share with all of you, because planning was big struggle for me for a while. It does give you freedom. Thank you, Diane. Fantastic. Sam, I keep wanting to call you Yam. Sam.
I know. That won't make any sense to anyone.
I know.
I think everyone has already sort of said it, but I think I like other people have been a little evangelical, and I have given books to people, please, because I think one of the things that it's a genuine gift, but it's not the books, it's not really, honestly, it's not the diet, it's not the books, all of those things. It's the structure of it, and yes, it genuinely works, but you're right, it's not trying to battle it through yourself. And actually the battle it's all here, and it's that all or nothing thinking that and the beat ups of you've failed at every little misstep, instead of seeing it as a learning and as a process and genuinely a gift. I mean, I lose words, because it genuinely has changed absolutely every part of my life, and I think that's the other thing, the mindset stuff. the impact it's had on so many other areas of
Yeah.
work and relationships and you know, all of it. It's not you're not doing it consciously, but it really is about kindness and you're doing this for yourself as you know, because you want to be healthy and happy, and
it's the best gift you could give yourself, isn't it?
Absolutely. But with a bunch of people who there's a real sense of community and like-minded spirits, and I do think a lot of us, and you're right, was it Karen, when you see someone hit prima, there's no malice or ill will. It's such a great, you're so happy for them because you know that they've put the work in, and so thrilled for them, but B, it's like, damn it, I don't want to do that.
I mentioned on a call yesterday that there's a version of jealousy that's positive, and that's the positive jealousy there. It's fuel. Yeah.
So I guess the tip is, if you're thinking about it, do it for a month or two. I mean, honestly, the inspiration from not just these lovely people, but from the whole group, it is constant. And you're absolutely right. I can't remember who said it, was Nina or Diane. There, every single day you see something and you're like, oh yeah, that's a really great way of thinking about it. Or, do you know, I hadn't thought about that, or what an inspiration. There's so many amazing people. I feel really privileged.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. And I say that, and I think, I know I'm one to say that, but it's good to hear you all say it about each other as well. My poor husband hears about the Tribies like 20 times a day and how much I love Tribies, and he's such a wonderful man to put up with me. All right, Karen, what would you say? Oh, hang on, you've just muted. You took it. There we go.
What would I say?
What would you say to someone who's, what advice would you give, or tip or trick, or any word of wisdom that you would share with somebody who's thinking about their journey?
I did write this down. I think there's two things. One, they're long things, of course. One is that the Primas and Lyndall tell me that I can absolutely do this. I can absolutely get to Prima. And that Prima button is gold. It actually is gold. And I've actually skirted around it, wondering what would happen if I press that button.
Did you press it?
I just want that gold button. No, I didn't press it.
I've got a tripwire there. So for people who do press it, it's fun.
And then, you know, you have to put in some things need to be routine. And if I don't weigh myself every day, I'm like the wandering Israelites. I just keep wandering around the desert. And that's what I've been doing all of my life. But even the last 2 years, whenever and my husband would just go, oh, diet again. Oh, that old chestnut. It's like, I need you to believe in me. So he's seen the weight loss, and he's gone, what are you down to now? And it's like, for the first time in 38 years of marriage, I weigh less than him. And that's a celebration. And to, you know, diarise everything, find what works for you. And that's the thing that Lyndall says a lot, and it's really resonated with me. It's up to you, right? It's your choice, right? It's like, yes. And to reflect daily, look at what you're eating, track it, just take on board the basic plan and stick with that. And when you lose your way, that's what you reset yourself with. That's what you do when you get up and the backpack's still on. That's what's in the backpack, is these basic tools that you've got to keep going back to. And I think that must be what you carry for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I use a family planner diary. I don't know if you can see that. And it's because it helps me, instead of chasing pieces of paper everywhere or rubbing off, and some girls do the laminated sheet and rubbing off and redoing it. I like my diary. And but the same things that are on the sheet, I've incorporated into the diary. So that's how I keep track. And I look at what weeks were good and what weeks were bad, and what did you do, what didn't you do, and how can you improve this? And you just tweaking all of the time. So I think that at your bottom line is believe in yourself. That's the basis. Believe in yourself, because when you believe in yourself, then you're going to become a prima. You're going to reach your goal.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. And Lynn's commented and said, I pressed the prima button to be nosy. It's hilarious. We're going to have a lot of people checking it out today. Oh, dude, thank you. Karen, Nina, any parting words of wisdom or advice?
I would say, if you're on the fence, just give it a shot. You will not regret it.
Yeah.
If anybody is thinking about it and wondering about it, it's so worth to try it. And there's so much great stuff to learn. Just see what it's like. And once you start realizing how much you're worth, the weight will come off.
Yeah.
When we love ourselves, we're not going to do those things to ourselves anymore. We're not going to torture ourselves. We're not going to eat horrible stuff. We're not going to do unhealthy things for ourselves. It changes how you think about it. So give it a shot. You won't regret it.
Beautiful parting words. Give it a shot, everyone. I love it. Thank you so much, Nina, and all you beautiful Tribies for joining our panel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each of you and love you all so much. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching this on the replay or live, thank you for showing up for yourselves. Take the words of wisdom that these ladies have shared today and make a decision and find what works for you. Have belief in yourself and don't look for prescriptions. Look to create your own life and create your own way of living, because it should be personal for you. Lots of people are saying thank you. Well done, ladies. Coralie says, I was on the fence and just joined. Welcome, Coralie, and welcome to everybody who's joining the tribe. We'll see you all inside there. We do have a 14-day challenge starting on Monday. It's called the 14 Days of Choreography, which is really like practicing those basics. So looking forward to it. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, everybody watching. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you all soon. Bye.